All right, guys. So BigBearAI shareholders have officially approved management's proposal to increase authorized common shares from 500 million shares all the way to 1 billion shares. And as you can imagine, investors are pretty divided on what this means. Some investors see this as a necessary step that gives management flexibility to grow the business even more, and others see it as a potential warning sign that could lead to future dilution and put at risk the existing shareholders that are here right now in jeopardy for dilution and the risk associated with dilution and them having a smaller percentage of ownership. So in this video, what we're going to be breaking down together, both me and you, is exactly what was approved, what it means for shareholders, and whether this changes the long-term thesis for BigBearAI. And real quick, guys, shout out to all of you that did tune into the live stream. It was pretty successful, and I did get lots of input from you guys. And also, I want to state here that again, those stats are a little bit off. It's closer to 100 right now after I uploaded it less than, let me see, just less than 30 minutes ago is when I uploaded it. But anyways, what I was trying to get at is everything that's going on with the space themes right now. Feel free to check out what's going to be going on this Friday with the SpaceX IPO. I'm going to be doing a live stream at 9 o'clock a.m., 30 minutes before the market open. And I'm very excited to be doing that. And I'm very excited to see all of you in attendance there. So what happened at today's annual shareholder meeting, it was pretty brief. And for BigBearAI, and again, shout out to Gemini giving it a 1-year bullish projection. We're currently down almost 7% on the day. Current price level is at the share price right now is at $4.01. But the annual shareholder meeting was very brief. It was probably 5 minutes or less. And the main highlight that I'm going to be talking about is the proposal to increase BigBearAI's authorized common shares from 500 million to 1 billion shares. Now, and again, the proposition was approved. So now before everyone starts panicking, or anyone that does feel panic, because again, there's investors that are divided with the approval of the proposition, it's important to understand exactly what this means for the company BigBearAI and its shareholders. There's a massive difference between authorized shares and outstanding shares, and I want to make that very clear. And a quick run through explaining the differences is that authorized shares are simply the maximum number of shares the company is legally allowed to issue. Outstanding shares are the shares that have already been issued and are currently owned by investors. I know there's plenty of investors in my community that understand this. They understand already what this means, but there's other people that are in the beginning stage of their investing journey. So I just wanted to make that clear. And as of April, BigBearAI had approximately 478.9 million shares outstanding. So what that means is that at that time, the company only had roughly 21 million authorized shares remaining under its existing 500 million. So management essentially argued that they needed additional flexibility going forward in order to grow the business, expand the business. And that's why they asked shareholders in the first place to approve the increase. Now, the obvious reasons for why investors were concerned is about the proposal is because it became such a hot topic due to the fact that investors immediately talked about that one no word that's talked about all the time. And that word is none other than dilution. Hey guys, it's David with InvestQ, and a lot of the research and stock discussions actually happen in my free InvestQ community before the videos even come out. I post weekly CTM updates, quantum stock coverage, daily watch lists, and fast breaking news reactions throughout the week. And if you want to stay ahead of what I'm watching in the market, feel free to join the free InvestQ community. First link in the description below. And the tone I'm going about when I say dilution, it's not necessarily a insignificant deal and it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that that's like blasphemy when it comes to investors in a specific way. The only thing worse than that, the only thing that I hear worse, talked about worse, is a reverse stock split. That's the only thing that I can think of, and bankruptcy, obviously. But it is, and I'm trying to make it clear, it is understandable and it is a valid concern. because when a company receives authorization to issue more shares, in the future, investors naturally worry that their ownership percentage could become smaller, and nobody likes that to happen. However, if management eventually issues additional shares, existing shareholders own a smaller percentage of the company. That's the primary concern that people had when approving this proposition. Now, however, I want to make clear, this is the part many investors misunderstand. The approval itself does not create new shares tomorrow. It's not immediate like that. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the case. The approval simply gives management the legal ability to issue additional shares in the future if they choose to do so. That's an important distinction. So it's not saying that the dilution is going to happen immediately. It's something that, for whatever reason, that management thinks that they do need to dilute their investors. It's something that would be in the long term, in the future, and it's something that would be discussed by management before they do it. And then obviously they would announce it to the public and all the shareholders of BigBear.ai. But nevertheless, all I'm trying to say is the dilution concerns are not necessarily going to be immediate like that. Not likely. So following up on that, let's get into the bull case and the bear case theses for the stock. If you're bullish on BigBear.ai, you might view today's vote as a positive development. Management now has additional flexibility to raise capital, fund acquisitions, and invest in growth initiatives. And shout out to you, Miguel, because Miguel was the one that was actually making this argument in the live stream chat. Let me see if I can pull up all of his commentary. I gained a very, very vocal subscriber today that, and again, I'm not saying that negatively. I do appreciate it, but he did make the argument that I'm going to be talking about right now, which is the fact that, here, let me just pull it up. So the fact that this additional flexibility, it gives them the flexibility to raise capital, fund acquisitions, invest in growth initiatives, compensate employees, pursue strategic opportunities, support future expansion, and considering BigBear.ai continues focusing on AI defense, national security, logistics, and government contracts, management may argue that flexibility itself is necessary. And I was trying to pull up his comment, Miguel. Shout out to you, Miguel. Unfortunately, I can't pull it up right now and I don't see it. But all I'm trying to say is that one of my new loyal subscribers right now was the ones making this argument for BigBear.ai, for the bullish case scenario for BigBear.ai. Now, flip it on the other side. When you look at the bear case thesis for the stock, the bearish argument is simple. Just because management now has the ability to issue additional shares does not mean investors should automatically trust they'll use that authority wisely. Many investors have seen growth companies issue shares repeatedly, creating dilution and putting pressure on existing shareholders. So investors are going to be watching management very closely moving forward, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think you should if you are an investor in BigBear.ai. And what I'm personally watching next is, now that the proposal has been approved, here are the questions that I'll be asking. Does management actually issue more shares? If they do, what are they being used for? Is the capital being used to grow the business? Are new contracts being won? Is revenue accelerating or margins improving? And the last two questions I have are, is Ask Sage continuing to gain traction? And finally, are they expanding their position in defense and national security markets? Because ultimately, issuing shares isn't automatically good or bad in itself. What matters most is what management actually does with the capital. And my personal takeaway is that today's vote doesn't change the investment thesis by itself. Not at all. The approval gives management more flexibility, but it also increases the importance of execution. So the real question isn't whether they can issue more shares. The real question is whether they can create enough value with those shares to justify any future dilution. That's what investors should be focused on. But speaking of what it is you should be focused on, let me know what you think about Big Bear AI in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you want to see in future upcoming videos, as I do love giving the content that you want to see. And if you did feel I gave you any value to in your investing journey, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe button, as I do appreciate the support. But with that being said, guys, stay safe, keep making good decisions with your long-term portfolios, and I'll see you on the next video.